Hello again. Yeah, 2 weeks, every 2 weeks at the moment. So I've got another one for my pipeline after this one. Great. So what is this one all about? You may well ask. You know, I use the My Items feature on LinkedIn a lot to save interesting stuff for later, basically. Do you? I usually take a look and see what I've saved regularly, but I hadn't looked for quite a few weeks. And when I did, I came across this question, which was posed in the ACMP LinkedIn group by Paul Byrne, who's a SAP program manager and architect who works for Total ERP. The question he asked was, why is it during a program or project when timelines and budgets are tight that the first thing to get cut is change management? Why is CM undervalued? Absolutely agree with that question, Paul, so I'm going to give it a good go. I wasn't connected to Paul, so I sent him a connection request basically asking if I could use his question for this YouTube channel, UAsk IAnswer, just in case you don't know what it is, even though there were many great answers in the comments thread already. Paul connected basically and he said, yeah, of course, no problem, use the question. So here I go. Let me first start with some of the comments from those things I mentioned earlier on. There were about 36 when I last looked, and some were great. Okay, so what I will do, is I'll just go through a few of them, which I thought were, quite good, and add a little bit of my own commentary. So first of all, Lawrence Jans van Rensburg said often the PM also believes that they can execute the change management since it formed part of their PM training, not realising that it is a science on its own. I never knew CM formed part of PM training. Does it? I didn't know. Next one, Bruce Swain. This will always happen unless project benefits realisation, including non-tangible benefits, are included on an executive dashboard and the sponsor, CEO, is accountable for benefits delivery. But benefits delivery happens after go live, after the PM has finished. So how does that work? All right, that's my way of thinking. Mohammed Tayyab says, unfortunately, project reporting focuses more on installation, project management, rather than adoption. Change management, hence CM suffers. Now, I totally agree with this, and it kind of sounds like it comes from my PM versus CM webinar, to be honest. It's one of the slides I've got on there, but never mind. Anyway, Janice Charlo, MHRD, CPHR and CEC, whatever they may be, says because OCM is not fully understood, it's not valued. Again, that is spot on. Heather Marks said, we need to focus on being perceived as true business partners, show understanding of and insights to a larger business problems from a business leader's point of view, instead of just tactical change widget producers. I'm afraid until CM is understood, this will not happen. Raif Azem, one of the reasons, in my opinion, is that some project sponsors, owners still do not understand CM. Absolutely correct, as mentioned above. And David Mabin says, our challenge is to move beyond the project-centric approach and to develop leadership in change to uplift our capability and to make change everyone's business. Yeah, well, that's a nice goal to have, but I don't think it'll happen. Not in my lifetime, I don't think, David. Okay, that's just a selection there from the comments to the original post. So what about my answer? Ah, okay. Having delivered my PM versus CM webinar to now 28 plus PMI chapters globally and countless private and public sector organizations, it is clear that the majority of the PM fraternity, not only the PMs themselves, but the people they report to and the senior managers, do not understand change management. Therefore, it does not come up in the initial conversation when teams are built and budgets are allocated during the project startup phase. Even now, yep, after how many years? Even now, the discipline of change management still seems to be in its infancy by comparison to project management. So, unfortunately, change management professionals like you and me are in the early phases still of converting non-believers. Change management is not easily measured. So they say. I think differently. Since the results are often intangible, yes, there are some intangible results, but there's plenty of tangible results you can measure. So executives who control budgets struggle to justify the expense and fail dismally to get behind change management efforts. Change management is usually bought in, so it's an expense. Therefore, it's easier to cut before anything else. Okay, that's all well and good, but what is it we need to understand what it will take to sell, but more importantly, buy into change management? First of all, I'm going to refer you to my video 08, which is my most viewed video to date on this channel. And it answers the question, sorry, I've got an itchy nose, for companies that focus purely on project management, how do you convince them that they should adopt change management as well? Or another way of putting it, how can we prove that change management is worth the investment? Take a listen, yeah, it's interesting. I'm kind of repeating some of the things that's in there in this video as well, but hey, the more you mention something, the more it sinks in. Now, I did a little bit of research. So this next piece of advice comes from an article I found via Google called The Best Way to Sell Change Management from the Center for Sales Strategy. They say resistance to using change management in a project is generally due to one or more of three issues. Number one, management isn't aware of the situation. Number two, they don't feel the change is necessary. Number three, there isn't proper funding for the change. I mentioned that before, didn't I? Yeah, we've got a few dollars to spare. In order to get results, the appropriate tactics need to be used for each specific case. So, number one, if management isn't aware, if upper level management is removed from the day-to-day issues your department sees clearly, you'll need to paint a clear picture of exactly what the problem is and the effects the problem is creating. Hang about, this nose of mine's itching like mad. If management doesn't see the need. All right, once you've painted that lovely picture of the problem, if management still doesn't see the need for change, connect the problem with the bottom line. Show what your proposed change would mean to the revenue or profits. Use real statistical information. The more the numbers speak, the more it will help. Thirdly, if there's no funding for the change, talking about for a few dollars more, what a great film. Start by demonstrating the financial value of your proposed change. If you can show that your change will pay for itself and generate return on investment to boot, you'll find your idea much easier to sell. Additionally, look around at ways of reducing costs. And as I said, these kind of mirror what's in my video 08. So why not go and take a listen to that one as well? Change management capability is no longer a nice to have. It has gone from a novelty novelty discipline, to a well-accepted area of executive education in its own right. And as long as the business environment continues its rapid evolution driven by new technologies and globalization, it will continue. Change requires constant reinforcement, hands-on leadership, and a courageous mindset that even if plans don't go on as intended, you will get back up and try again, having learned from your mistakes. Leaders and budget holders need to extract their heads from their assholes and realise that change management is the key to success, not just delivering to time, cost, quality and scope. Just to reinforce the need for change management in projects, I ran a survey in 2021, which was a repeat of a previous survey done many years ago that asked two simple questions. Question 1. How important is project management to change success? And how important is change management to project success? Respondents were a mix of project managers and change managers. Can't remember how many were, but there were enough to make it representative. The question 1 results came in at critical 38%, very important 44%, and important 20%, compared with the question 2 scores, which came in at critical 64%, very important 24%, and important 8%. So change management almost double that of project management when it comes to criticality. So what does that tell you? I hear you ask. What it tells me is that organisations still do not see the value that change management brings to them and their project. It's time to reconsider your priorities, I think. Don't you? Thank you. Sorry for the slight rantish way of presenting this video, but it's an important issue for everybody, I think, not only change managers or project managers, but for organisations in general. So get thinking, guys and gals. Thanks. Cheers.